When will humanity finally unite against our oppressors? Part 2. So, how do we get out of this mess and fix our world? We must first shed the ego and unite as one force against evil. How and what can we do to avert our planned dystopian future are questions that are constantly being asked of me every time I implore people to realize that unity is our only real hope in escaping the matrix which has been built up around us. And as we all should know by now, it is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth, that you are a slave. We are all slaves, the allegorical batteries powering a system designed to extract our energy to build itself and create a world in which we are ultimately no longer needed. We have been aiding in our ultimate destruction our entire lives, and most have been wholly unaware of this documented and verifiable fact. We are given our breads and circuses to satiate our most basic low vibration and subconscious desires, but it has come at a massive cost to civilization and the natural world, and all for the benefit of a tiny percentage of the absolute worst people in existence. I have directed everyone who has asked these questions to the extensive work I have put out over the past 3 years, but that doesn't seem to be enough. We live in an entitled, short attention span world in which everyone wants everything handed to them on a silver platter, without having to put in any personal effort whatsoever and or solutions given in a 10-second TikTok video. But solving our problems are not that easy, and there are no saviors coming to make things all better. The solutions, however, are simple to understand. Once people take the time to look, listen, and comprehend what is being said by those of us who have taken the time to not only realize our dilemma, but also the way to fix it. To do that, as my friend David Greenberg of freedomvibe.art says, we have to spend time and pay attention. That is the only true personal cost in learning how we free ourselves. Spending the time to pay attention to those of us who have figured this out and have offered the only true solutions, because they are all based in natural law. The information is and will always be free and available for everyone in the world to access at any time across many platforms, so long as it is allowed to be seen, that is. But if one is unwilling to challenge personal beliefs and dogmatically held opinions programmed into their consciousness their entire life, then they will remain part of the problem and continue to add negative energy, which only empowers and enables the prison grid in which we all live to grow stronger, while enriching the predatory architects who have designed this trap in the process. The predicament. Looking back at history with a discerning eye and open mind, we can clearly see everything that has gone wrong with society and civilization. We can see how it was done, why it was done, the people behind everything, and their ultimate intentions. They essentially stole the last 3 years of the lives of billions around the world as they illegitimately stole trillions of wealth from the producers once again, as they have done repeatedly throughout history, along with purposely eliminating millions of human beings they refer to as useless eaters in the process. This is a new type of war to which most are unaware. We've been told their end goal, which is they will own everything and we will own nothing, but we'll be happy as part of a total population to be maintained at no greater than 500 million throughout the entire world. This is an agenda which is being successfully implemented because we allow it to happen. It's as simple as that. Everything that has been done to humanity has been forewarned by those who have executed their plans with impunity. Wars, famines, genocide, economic hardship, etc., have all been pre-planned by the architects of control and imposed on humanity by their social engineers. They tell us exactly what they have planned for us in their speeches, media, and writing. And if we allow it to happen, it is on us because we didn't stop it from happening. Knowing this, it has been made abundantly clear what they plan on doing to us in the future, and we know exactly what this future will look like. They have warned of cyber attacks which will destroy our ability to communicate, social credit scores to coerce submission to authoritarian dictates or else, and complete control of personal finances, along with oppression and brutal force to ensure 100% compliance, are just a few of the examples by which our free will is determined to be extinguished. And yet, I see hardly anyone doing anything about it, as if it will just magically all go away if they don't think about it. But then, there will be that date, like September 11, 2001 or March 11, 2020. It will suddenly be a reality of before and after. The planned event will forever alter our reality, and there will be no going back after the post-insert date here world has been initiated. It will be something like the post-Cybergeddon world that changed everything forever, and we will never be able to go back to the old normal ever again. Sound familiar? This script is tired and played out by now, and yet they are still able to get away with it in a world of gullible and fearful, captured souls. We are already living in a new normal that many of us never experienced growing up in the final decades of the last century, and most could never have imagined would be our actual future. We live in a police state brought on by false flag terror attacks around the world, and now a biosecurity state brought on by one of the greatest hoaxes in human history. The theory that germs are the cause of disease and death, when they have never scientifically been proven to be, ever. But apparently most are just fine with these egregious attacks on our individual rights and freedoms, and which are all based on complete and provable lies. The majority just go along to get along for fear of being ostracized by the mindless masses who are too ignorant or cowardly to question anything in opposition to authority or the official narrative. Humanity is being restrained from our true destiny by conformity, when courage could free us all. Is it time to act yet, or should we just wait until it's too late to do anything about it? That seems to be our default after all. What are our options? I can't believe the number of people I've come across over the years who seem to think that everything will just magically work itself out in the end and in our favor. That humanity will miraculously rise from the ashes like a phoenix, but that also presupposes a complete collapse and devastation of society and civilization, along with the abject misery that entails, when we could avoid that scenario altogether. I've also heard that spontaneous order will just materialize out of the ether, or some crazy BS like that. But look at the damage that's already been done because of that wishful thinking. Once you understand the enemy as Sun Tzu taught us we should do to win any war, you realize that they are relentless and will not give up their power unless they can no longer hold on to it due to circumstances beyond their control, which is why they have done so much to control all of the circumstances to fall in their favor. To many, they seem invincible, so the apathetic masses choose to live out whatever time they have left in life because it is futile to do anything about our circumstances. But this is a defeatist attitude, which is a self-fulfilling prophecy and is the epitome of selfishness as well. Because to believe that is to not take the action necessary to stop the bleeding and to help fix the deep wounds inflicted on humanity. Those who choose to do nothing out of self-preservation are part of the problem, won't lift a finger to help, and are essentially aiding the enemies of humanity in their crimes against us. As we can see from history, every time a civilization or society falls, the inevitable power vacuum has always been filled in by the most opportunistic, narcissistic, and usually abusive members of a population. It is they who prefer to impose their will upon others instead of leading by an ethical and moral example and creating a thriving social order with equal opportunity for everyone. They surround themselves with well-paid sycophants and enforcers to suppress anyone who might challenge their illegitimate authority once established. So far, we have magical thinking, selfish apathy, and the consequential power vacuum, which is always the result of these two approaches. Then we have those who think that violence is the only solution. But now we have a situation wherein those who initiate the violence are not much better than those whom they fought against to depose. Two wrongs don't make a right. Violence is only acceptable in the case of self-defense. Period. It's also been proven beyond any doubt that we will never vote our way out of this mess, and the legal system is completely controlled to protect the predator class from ever being challenged via lawsuits. They have virtually every escape route covered and controlled, but again, there is one thing which they can't control, and that is the unity of a large critical mass of the population leaving en masse to create their own system, thus withdrawing the energy required to keep their false reality viable. They simply don't have the resources to stop such a mass action from occurring. But the action must be highly organized and agreed to for it to be successful. This again is the greatest fear of the ruling criminal class and why they do everything in their power to keep us divided and distracted from realizing this one true power and game changer we possess. And even greater still, as history has also proven, once the population has had enough and turned against their oppressors, the enforcement class has always sided with the people. What we are talking about here is the ultimate checkmate move against our opponent. The one that will finally end their centuries-long rule with the banking warfare model that has devastated not only our species, but countless others along with the natural world. The time to do this is now, or it will be never, to end this insane system of oppression on all the people in existence today and our future progeny. What do we, the people, need to do? To begin, the attitude of there is nothing I can do, so therefore I will do nothing, needs to be struck from the consciousness of everyone, because there is something we all can and must do if we ever hope to be free. We all have our own part to play in emancipating humanity from its current form of slavery, and there is a peaceful and nonviolent way out. What I have done with my work is to give people a vision of a better world, a destination for which we all should strive to want to create. My first video series, after spending 5 months in year 1 of the PSYOP creating the Freedom Project 2020 website, was called Manifesting a New Reality. The series is 12 parts, but I have only completed the first 10 thus far. If I finally see interest in people actually wanting to fix this world, I will finish the last 2 parts, but they will take nearly 100 hours of work to complete. However, this series is the vision part of a better world, or the end goal of the journey. In it, I set forth an indictment of all legacy systems of enslavement, propose a new social order based fully in natural law that guarantees and restores all power back to the sovereign individual, and how things would operate in a natural law republic. To get there, we need a roadmap to our destination. That is what the series, The Path to Freedom, is all about. It's about what needs to be done to get to our destination and what will be required to implement the plans of action. Much of it shows how we must realize that it is our thoughts and intentions which create our reality, and why it is so important to change our perspective not only about our current condition, but that it is possible to change it, given the right cooperative effort. In the series Creating a Natural Law Republic, I prove in Part 1 not only that the Constitution, written and ratified in 1787, was meant to last for only one generation and not be perpetual, but that it also has no inherent authority over anything or anybody, and thus has done nothing to protect we the people from the tyranny which has risen around us within our lives. It is only a widely held and dogmatic false perception that has been perpetuated for 8 generations that it does, and that we have the ability and capacity to write a new one that better serves us and our world as it is now. The remaining 4 parts of that series are of me narrating and explaining a proposed constitution for a natural law republic and why it was written the way it was. It also covers a new system of checks and balances never before tried in history, which would truly decentralize all power to every single individual in the population and create a system in which no one or group of people has any power over others. It is a revolutionary idea whose time has come if we ever hope to have a world of peace and harmony in balance with nature. I then wrote a 4-part blog series entitled Emancipation Proclamation 2.022, Building the Breakaway Civilization, which is essentially an overview of the Freedom Project 2020 and the purpose of our cause to free all of humanity from the bonds of illegitimate authority once and for all. In November of 2022, I started a new YouTube channel called Kaizen and the Pursuit of Truth, for which I have created a foundational series to show people how to reclaim the power and full capacity of their mind. I'm about to start working on a follow-up series to show people how to achieve optimal health, understand how the body truly works, and why we don't need anything offered to us by the corporations of Big Pharma. From there, I plan to continue to create content that supports all proposals for creating this new social order, which puts people and nature first and foremost in society. What people need to do is first to imagine a better world. All of these videos are designed to help others to see that we do have an option outside of the false left-right political paradigm and the statist model of government, which has not only failed to protect humanity, but enslaved it instead. They were also created to give everyone content to share with others, to open their minds as well, so that we can build to the necessary critical mass. We must first reclaim our minds if we are to reclaim our lives and our world. All of this content helps to accomplish this primary and vital piece of the puzzle. We need to build a critical mass because without that we will remain divided and easy to conquer. Recommend this work to your favorite podcast hosts and have them book me for an interview so the word can spread to larger and larger audiences. We all have a part to play in this, and everyone helping will get us to our goal as soon as we can possibly get there. The plan of action to create the breakaway civilization. As I have been telling people for years, micro-solutions and worrying about only oneself will not change our world. While we all do need to work on ourselves and create better communities, the only thing that will disempower the predator class is the unification of the population into a force large enough which is fully committed to breaking free and creating this new civilization. Once the critical mass has broken free and we show the rest of the population it is not only possible, but infinitely better than the slave system in which they are trapped, they will all follow us to help in creating an entire new reality in our world. And not only in our lifetime, but within a very short time frame once the minds of the masses have been changed to a positive outlook. One of the vital things which needs to be done before we can make the transition to a new societal system is to create a new economic and monetary system. But that cannot be initiated unless and until we have significant support and commitment from at least tens of thousands of motivated and active participants and helping to create the infrastructure and population necessary to maintain this new system once fully operational. Once a critical mass has been achieved, we will select a day in which we will all declare our independence from the current system together as one united force. I am estimated that 10% of the population will be sufficient to enact this transition. And as I have said, with numbers that large, there is nothing they can do to stop us because they don't have the resources to do so. This is a system which gets its very authority to legitimately operate from the large numbers who sign on to being part of the new natural law republic. It also gets its safeguards and stability from the decentralized nature of the system, as it is not one in which everyone moves to one place, thus making it an easy target for attack. By having everyone remain where they are, our numbers would be spread out over the entire nation in all 50 states. So again, the illegitimate authorities would have no power to stop us from leaving peacefully and building this new model, which doesn't need them at all. What other options do we really have? Just roll the dice and hope for the best when you know complete psychopaths are in control of our world? Or do we take action to unite and build the critical mass necessary to break free, declare our independence, and start building a new world based fully in natural law and objective truth? The choice is ours to make, but it must be done now. Once they have significantly restricted our ability to communicate, it will be too late to do anything about it, or at least it will be immensely more difficult to do so. The time is now. Where is the will of the people to be free? I've waited for years to see a pulse in humanity, and it has thus far continued to let me down. But everything we need to be free is within us all. All we need to do is access it, share it with others, and work on the plan, which can take all of us to safe harbor so we can begin to heal and rebuild our world. Natural law is all we need as our guide, and people will begin to understand that as they go through the material. The plan is comprehensive and viable. All we need are the people to implement it, and we have the power to change our future and create one for our children that we can pass on with pride, knowing that we were all part of helping to create it.